My channel may review knives, but I have the most fun on the lives. Settle in and grab a snack. Juvan and his vibe will arrive to attack. Talking blades and casting shade. There may be some friendly debate, but please no hate. Wow! My channel may My channel may review knives, but I have the most fun on the lives. Settle in and grab a snack. Juvan and his vibe will arrive to attack. Talking blades and casting shade. There may be some friendly debate, but please no hate. But please no hate. My channel may very few nights, but please no hate. But please no hate. Wow. But please no hate. Wow. Very few nights, but please no hate. But please no hate. My channel may review knives, but I have the most fun on the lives. Settle in and grab a snack. Juvan and his vibe will arrive to attack. Talking blades and casting shade. There may be some friendly debate, but please no hate. But please no hate. Insomniac, sit and spin, about to be live. Hanging with each other, talking shit about knives. We sit and we spin, and we vibe in the chat. We listen to Juvan just trying to describe where he's at. It is a good time, but who is this fool who talks about knives and EDC tools? Insomniac, sit and spin, a weekly live stream. You're in the right place if you know what I mean. Insomniac, sit and spin, a weekly live stream. You're in the right place if you know what I mean. Insomniac, sit and spin, about to be live. Hanging with each other, talking shit about knives. We sit and we spin, and we vibe in the chat. We listen to Juvan just trying to describe where he's at. It is a good time, but who is this fool who talks about knives and EDC tools? Insomniac, Insomniac, sit and spin, a weekly live stream. You're in the right place, if you know what I mean.
A little bit, but are you high on cigarettes? And when that stuff runs out, you're gonna wanna make it. Are you high on cigarettes?
Let's watch Juvan's weirdness and get high on cigarettes. Let's watch Juvan's weirdness and get high on cigarettes. Let's watch Juvan's weirdness and get high on cigarettes. Let's watch Juvan's weirdness and get high on cigarettes. Do you know that you're right or wrong? 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 He don't smoke 'em, but he loves it when you do. That's why he's high on cigarettes. And if you find him, you should light him up with you. He's getting higher on cigarettes. Let's watch Juron's witness and get high on cigarettes. Let's watch Juron's witness and get high on cigarettes. Let's watch Juron's witness and get high on cigarettes. Let's watch Juron's witness and get high on cigarettes. Do you know that you're right or wrong? Do you know that you're right or wrong? Do you know that you're right or wrong? Do you know that you're right or wrong?
Do you know that you're right or wrong?
Good afternoon, madam.
Yeah, I'm sorry, officer.
Can I see your papers, please? Hello. Mummy in a bit of a hurry, was she? Step out of the car, madam! Step out of the vehicle now!
Mom, can I have a popsicle?
No, honey, you'll spoil your...
Hey parents, tired of those out-of-control kids? Throwing embarrassing tantrums wherever they go. At the grocery store, on the playground, even at the dinner table. You've had it with parenting, but wait, there is a solution. Introducing Nap Time, the latest, most effective tool for child tantrum prevention. It's simple. Just douse a rag with our patented Sleepy Time formula, place it over your child's cry hole, press and hold gently for 8 to 12 seconds, and presto, no more tantrum.
I was beginning to think adoption was the only way out. Then a friend of mine introduced me to Nap Time. It's never been so quiet around here.
The secret lies in Naptime's revolutionary fast-to-sleep formula. Developed by military-trained scientist doctors from NASA, Naptime's powerful molecules rush to the child's brain on contact, gently inducing instant tranquility.
You don't see that every day. What's going on, people? I hope y'all can hear me. I hope y'all can see me. I hope I'm still alive. Who knows in this YouTube verse when you're connected to StreamYard? Paul Mills was in the house. I saw him early and often. Marco Ye in the house. 1931 Leatherworks. Terry's in the house. We got Edgar. We got Rasha in the house early. Welcome. Welcome to where we talk about sitars and other bladed instruments and how they make us feel. If they give us the warm fuzzies. Or did you like those, Paul? Paul, I found some freaking jewels. It's just the ones that you can get cut down and YouTube will let you take. It's there's some good ones in there. I love the little girl. Help. That's not my mommy. The only thing that would have been better is if he'd have filled that passenger seat with holes. But yeah, that's dark humor. You got to appreciate it. I've got some knives on the table. I don't have new Kaiser in bulk this month. I have a couple that I'll be showing the next couple of days. And there are a couple of cool ones coming. The reason I know that is, I guess I could say it. I was looking around in their dealership portal today, helping Knives and More put together a sizable Kaiser order. So we're going to be carrying Kaiser as our second only imported brand at Knives and More, which I took Tate and the part-time guy, Levi, who only works 2 days a week, to the Kaiser dinner, and they were able to meet some of their people, experience some of their knives at the show and at the dinner. And I think it's going to work out. I think it'll be good for Kaiser. I think it'll be very good for Knives and More because it gives them a price point that they currently can't reach with quality materials, quality knives. They've got Cobra Tech, M Tech, slip joints, Rosecraft blades, nothing wrong with them. And then they've got titanium. So they don't have anything in that $60 to $115 range of quality knives. So I'm kind of stoked. I think I'll be able to sell a bunch of them. On my USA maker that I'm lobbying for, I have not yet given up, but I've hit a couple of stalemates. And now I'm playing, yes, I don't know the knife store, Mr. Owner, but I know business. Last year or the year before when I was working, I was responsible for $4.6 million worth of business. The year before that, it was about 4.2 million. You count up over the years, I've probably been responsible for more business than you've been responsible for knife value. So I'm just telling you dollars and cents. If you only have to carry 5 knives as opposed to pick between hundreds to display, and you don't have to make a big investment, you can buy 10, you can buy 2. And guess what? If you don't sell them, you can send them back. I don't see a downside there. I do too, Henry. Kaiser knives are my favorite imported knife. That is why you don't see me. It's not that I have anything against Civivi. I did a lot with Civivi when I was first coming up, but when it came down to it, I've always appreciated Kaiser more. I've had better customer service from Kaiser long before I had a channel. I would communicate with them, ask them questions about knives, and they were always very open, and they always wanted feedback just from somebody who used their knives. But so far, I've had no luck getting TRM in Knives and More. That's my only other goal before I blow out of that experiment, is I'd like to have one more USA-made small batch maker in there. And Michael Martin is one I've been working with as well. The Cormorant's a great knife, Paul. I'll tell you, they're newer knives. I don't have my little Kaiser case, but I'm going to grab it. Y'all sit tight. This won't take a second. The reason I have it is I took it down to Knives and More for them to look through it before they made the decision. Hold on. So when I was buying Kaisers, I was buying Cormorants. I bought a lot of the Blade series, which were the titanium ones. But these new Kaisers, I'm just going to start with a couple of the budget ones. This is a new budget knife for last month. I think it's one of the sexiest all-around knives. I hope Kaiser brings this out in their Blade series. But this knife is Norex, which is the manufacturer, Ultra X, which is the line of micarta. So it's a very high grade of micarta. Contoured handles. It's got a blade hole and thumb studs. So, pow. It's got a top actuated button liner lock. It's got a very psyopsy looking, nice spear point, drop point blade, and it has amazing action. This one is about $63, and it's in AEB. Well, hold on. In Nitro V, even better. So this is a Nitro V for under $70, full size, badass budget knife. Then everybody's old favorite, the Sheepdog. I'm not crazy about the color either. This is their G Carta, but this is a Sheepdog 2.9. So it's a little bit smaller than the regular Sheepdog, but bigger than the old Mini. It's got thumb studs, not a thumb hole, and it utilizes their top liner lock, which is the best top liner lock in the game. I always love this knife. Very tall and slicey. Budget knives. I thought this might freak the old man out because he's a Benchmade dealer. But this knife right here, it's not my jam. It's about $78. It's a rescue knife. So it is an AEBL blade steel, PVD coated. It's got serrations done the right way. The guys up at Knives and More confirmed that that is the way you would do serrations, like Benchmade. It's got a Tonto, which they don't like, but that's what Benchmade's has. And it has this little box cutter, because we all agree that you're more likely going to be opening boxes than prying through seat belts. Benchmade's is a little thicker, but this knife is 4 times less expensive. It's not going to cut into that Benchmade market. It's just going to give somebody who wants a knife that looks very similar to a rescue knife, which we don't sell a lot of. And then just a little elegant knife. Y'all remember the Big Lighter? This is the Big Lighter 2.9, using that same Ultra X micarta. This one's using a clutch lock, which is like a bar lock, but it's adjustable. Uses their stainless steel acid washed micarta blade. Absolute banger. And then you get into their more premium knives. And when I say premium, these knives are well under $175. This knife right here, it's called the Serpentine. It's a titanium knife with a micarta inlay with Elmax steel, about the size of my PM2, internal frame lock, tall, thin, slicey blade, under $200, guys. And it's got a front flipper. So it's not 230, 240. It's under $200. There are a few that are over 200. One that I don't really like that much, this one here, only because it is in Damascus. And this Ultra DLC, it's got Damascus on the show side. Can't really see it in my lighting. And it's a really nice knife. It's not necessarily my jam. But then you've got a knife like this. Nothing fancy. It's called the Kaiser knife, Nice Guy. It's a little G-Carta thumb stud knife with a clutch lock. On Amazon only. This is a Kaiser Amazon exclusive. It's like $34.95. And it is in AEBL blade steel. So our buddy Loot 10 Texas, Loot designed this knife. This is the Rays. It's a pokey stabby splinter digger in S45, titanium, and leather. You can get this in a lot of other inserts, carbon fiber, and some other stuff, different colors. It's about $140. If y'all like the sheepdog, this is probably my favorite razor knife that's been made out of a existing design. This is a button liner lock, sheepdog, titanium insert. And then it gives you probably 5/8 of the blade to cut with. It's just a great utility knife. About $35. And then my favorite, did I show this one yet? The Warning. The Warning is my favorite knife. This didn't got a lot of hublub. You see more of the Madrak, which looks similar, but the Warning is a premium knife. It's an S45VN. That swirled micarta in titanium. It's got their Ultra DLC coating. Deep hollow ground Warncliffe blade. And that button liner lock's just money. And then I won't show you a lot more. I'll show you this one because it's cool. The Kaiser Zero. This is like the Drop Bear, but it's the Drop Bear Zero. What's up, Neil McKenzie? What's up, Projectiles Are Sharp? This has no hardware. So what it is it's a drop bear. It's got one screw on the back. Take that off, take the clip off, and then you can get the scales off to get to the pivot over here. But it's a button lock. This is M390. Joe Isabella. Say it ain't so, Joe. You know what that means. So this one's an M390, hollow ground, very solid knife. I really like this knife. I'm not a huge fan of the Axis lock, but I really like this knife too. It's also available in a button depress. This is an aluminum handle sheepdog, but it's a sheepdog drop point in L-Max. And it's a tall, flat ground blade. And this knife's $160. I'm just telling you, Kaiser's putting out some banger knives. And when I was at the dinner with them in Atlanta, they released something new. Another line that they have, not another line, it's Kaiser. It's going to be their yellow box series. So these bladesmiths, like this one here that's full tie and S45. I say S45. This one's actually S35. So these come in a black box that says Kaiser. The Vanguard series comes in a gray box. Well, they've got a few knives, and I'll show them to you here on the site, like the Glow Feist and some things like that, that come in a yellow box. And that's going to be their new ultra premium line that might come up to $300 or $315. This is a really nice knife. Front flipper. And this was in an S45. But anyway, like this knife right here. This is part of a series that launches tomorrow. It's called their Quick Swap Scale Series on this little Hallow. The Hallow is an ultra premium small EDC knife with an aluminum handle, carbon fiber inserts. They've got some inserts like Joker that glow in the dark, several that are UV activated. This one has mirrored DLC on top of Z-Wear PM. These scales pop off with 3 really strong magnets. So if I want to put Joker scales in mine, down the road, I can get a set of Joker scales. When I take this knife apart, I've got a review coming out tomorrow where you'll see it. I just take out these 2 T8 screws. This aluminum handle comes off. There's this little metal strip that lines everything up. And then you've got the full tang of that Z-Wear behind it. But this is a great little minimalistic, for me, stick in my back pocket, walk around and cut with it. I love this knife. I saw it at Blade Show. I'd not had one before. I reached out to Kaiser. They didn't have any available. I sent another follow-up email or DM saying, you know, if you just happen to get one in. And she was like, well, we're just happened to get some of these, couple of new blade steels and a couple of new configurations with how the scales are mounted. Because the previous version, these scales were mounted on with a couple of screws. No big deal. But this Hallow goes for about, I think, $119. It's available in, I think, 10V or 3V, Z-Wear, or S45. So if we go, we're just going to do a little quick knife stuff here for a second. Y'all bear with me. Knives. Let's go here. Boom. I'm going to share something, then I'll come right back to the chat. I won't be gone long. There's also a new knife coming out that is a collaboration with my second favorite small knife maker. So I don't know if y'all can see that. They call them quick swap scales. So for example, this one's $159.90. This is the Joker, the CF Joker, carbon fiber Joker. It's got this glow in the dark scales. This one is in CPM 10V. So this is 10V, or you can choose one like this that is S45VN, or you can choose the one I've got, which is 149. I was a little wrong on the price. It's Z-Wear PM, whatever that is. And it is Fat Carbon Nebula. And I think they have two more. This one's sold out. See, this is the old version. You can see the screws in the inlays. And I think these were in 3V, 10V. These were just in 10V. So they upped the game on the Hallow series. And I just think that's a really cool knife. The other new stuff they have coming out, they haven't really released it in bulk. I love the little Feist. The Momo, that's a nice fixed blade. This was from last month. That's a wonderful knife. I didn't know this, but these pins, these red pins, the super thin hollow grind like a hinder or slicer, but these red pins glow in the dark. And then there's the Outposter, the Madrak. This little guy is probably one of my favorite fifth pocket knives out there. A lot of people hate the way it looks, but it fits the hand really well. I just think as far as, Chinese companies putting out knives every day, hundreds of knives every day, probably, if you counted them out. But I think Kaiser's putting out some good stuff, some stuff that I like. I get excited about it, and I don't carry premium stuff. I'll tell you a couple of knives I've gotten excited about, and I've seen other reviewers say they had major detent problems. Their clip turned colors. I can't get mine to turn colors, but this is a Miguron. I forget the name of it, but it's one of their budget knives I saw at Blade Show. I reached out to him to see if I could check it out. I don't love the color. It looks kind of gas station-y color-wise. But when you look at the knife, it's multiple deployment. It's a top liner lock. So you got a regular flipper, tall flat ground belly. You've got thumb studs. And you've got a top flipper. But what else you've got is you see you've got a big honking choil. Nothing fancy here. One of these is in a blade steel that I'm not familiar with that's close to AUS 8. I think the other one's D2. But this is the one that really excited me at Blade Show that I really like. These are inexpensive knives. This is the Carrack. It has only got thumb studs and a top liner lock. But it's got this tall, flat, thin, cardboard destroying blade. And let me get my flashlight. One, two, three, four. See that right there in the liner? Watch this. If I don't want to use that button for some reason, you've got full access to the liner lock right here. If you want to go old school on it. I don't know why you ever would, but I think it's interesting, and it must be a designer thing, that Miguron did one like this and they didn't do the other one with the option to use the liner lock or the button. I like the button. It works well. One thing I've noticed on not just this lock, but a lot of locks with button locks, y'all let me know if this happens with you. If you're a reverse flipper, for some reason, I sometimes rest my finger up there. And if I push the button like I did there on purpose, it doesn't lock up. Now it's easy for me not to do that. Just get my finger away from the button. If I thumb flick it, it's not going to come in contact. But what do y'all think about that? What's up, Mick? What do y'all think about the look of that knife besides the crazy G10 or whatever that is? That's called the Karak. And this one's called the, get what this one's called, the Slora maybe. But this one's really cool because it's got front flipper, thumb studs, and a regular flipper. And a tall belly. So both of these knives are very slicey. Again, I know one reviewer that got one of these that the detent was allegedly terrible, according to him, and the clip turned purple. I've not seen that yet. Don't plan on it, but it could happen. Weird things have happened. I've been carrying it, trying to get it to turn purple. I did get a small tripod today that I ordered from Amazon during the Prime days to set up outside where I've got this tree that's fallen down, because I've got a couple of bigger knives that I'm going to test, and I'm going to do a little wood processing on a larger level than just cutting cardboard and cutting paper. I'll never be that tester guy who goes out, even though I will be bringing you guys my findings on MagnaCut versus MagnaCut Minnow, exact same blade geometry as a Magnamax Minnow with the exact same blade geometry. My Minnow is at a point where I can say it's no longer cutting paper as cleanly as I'd like. So now I've quit making my little marks, my 4 with a line through it on my MagnaCut Minnow. And I'm cutting only with the Magnamax to try to get it to where it'll kind of bog down in paper. So I can see how many more cuts this got than that. It's not going to be scientific, but it's going to tell me a lot. I've already learned a lot. One, I can cut a shitload of cardboard with properly heated MagnaCut at say 64 HRC, and it's not gonna bog down. I mean, it just works very, very well. And then the Magnamax, I've heard people say it's from a different planet. It takes longer to grind. The edges last longer. I'm experiencing that. I may get to a point to where I say, I give. It cut this much more, and I stopped because I've been sticking with this little review because I won't sit down and spend an hour cutting cardboard. I don't have that type of sitting power. My ADHD is too bad. I'll cut for 15, maybe 30 minutes at a time. But if I get totally defeated and I get, say, 100, which would be more than 100 feet, it'd be like 100 times 16. If I get 100 more cuts out of Magnamax, and it's still going, I might just dedicate it. Look, it outcut me. It's a great steel. I don't know. I'm waiting to hear from Shane and some other people that are working with it. I know a lot of people are starting to use it. Joseph Vero's new ProTech just came out. His Synapse that's full aluminum. It doesn't have the micarta front, and it's in Magnamax. And if I'm not mistaken, Spyderco's moving a lot of their steels to Magnamax. I'm hearing that through Knives and More, through the knife store. So we'll see. I carried today a blast from the past. I don't know if y'all still have one. I know B Shady's probably not in here, but he'd appreciate this. And I still have my Devo folding nip, but still one of my favorite modern slip joints is my Devo nip slip. I showed it to the guys at Knives and More that are case junkies. I said, look, this is S90V. It's got a tall, hollow grind. It's got an excellent walk and talk. And Tate loved it. He's like, well, that walk and talk's really strong. I was like, yeah, but you're not having to use your nail nick. You can grab the entire blade. It just feels steady. You got this perfect finger choil up here. If y'all have not tried the nip slip, it is an absolute winner. Get Lefty to bring them back. I saw the what's the one that was a really cool knife? I liked it. It had a thumb stud and a hole, and now they just came out with the mini version of it. The high boy maybe, or something, a little high boy, or I get them wrong. I dropped out of the Devo scene, not because I wasn't interested in Devo knives anymore. I just wasn't buying knives, and I was working full time, lost my job, was doing my channel full time until the Knives and More thing came out. So I was really kind of dependent on the companies that I wanted to work with, that wanted to work with me. Sobeck Scooter, what is up, brother? I carried yesterday my TRM Think Tigger Think, the slip joint, the not the nerd. Sobex, my Alzheimer's kicking in hard. Dan Stan, what's up, brother? What is the my little slip joint from TRM? The little I can't think of it. It's not on their site anymore. But today, the nip slip was in my left pocket with Terry's wallet. And this has glow carbon. So I'm also loving my little $34 Workhos flashlight. I did go back and put my small tube on it with a small battery. But check this out. Hey, Sobex, what is the little TRM slip joint? Not the nerd. It's smaller than the nerd. Came out long before the nerd. That's got some sick glow carbon on it. Tag along. Nope, nope. That's the fixed blade. The slip joint. Let me show it to you. This little guy right here. Atlas, thank you, sir. Yeah. All I'm missing is the pit bull and the knife that came out before the Atlas. But Lefty designed a great little knife here. I mean, or Colin, or both of them. I think it's just, I haven't carried it in a long time, but I'm trying to carry a slip joint every day. Today in my back rear pocket, I carried another one that I'm really becoming fond of. This is Olive Knives. They reached out to me about a year ago with a large knife. And I told them I'm not a bushcrafter, but it was their arbor. It was the Olive Knives arbor, a bushcrafting full-size knife made out of Elmax with a Fibonacci grind. And it was one of the most bougie big knives I've ever seen. The spine was crowned about halfway down the full-size spine, and then it went totally flat, like you just ran it where it was a 90-degree angle, a ferro rod striking beast. I don't have it in arm's reach, but this is their little EDC fixie called the Venari. And they now have, which they had at Blade Show, a folder called the Lincia. And they were going to send me an Elmax. They told me to take one at Blade Show, but I won't take people's knives from Blade Show. I was like, look, if you don't sell it and you get back, and luckily they sold them all, so I'm glad I didn't take one. But they're going to send me a tungsten. I think it's tungsten. Something that's strong. Terravantium. I'm sorry, a Terravantium bladed Lincia to check out. And again, all I'll do is cut cardboard with it. But what I love about this knife is everything designed about it, including the sheath, was designed to be a pocket dropper. So it's got this big Ulti-Clip 1.1, which is their 1-inch clip that literally goes in your pocket, super thin. You don't have your traditional push off here. You just got this open design, which allows you to draw it. Ryan Ellis, what is up, brother? What is up? What is happening, man? Ryan, I know you're probably running around still, but if you're free, buddy, you hop up if you want to. If not, you just chill in the chat with all these lovely people. And we're going to talk about knives. We're going to talk about lives. I've got a commercial that if I could get it to just work, it would be awesome. It's this from the 70s, and it's a car dealership, and it starts off with, if you ain't buying a car from us, fuck you. I mean, it's just like really harsh, but these are real commercials that ran in the 80s. Another knife company I'm working right now with Knives and More. My final person that I said I'd recommend you bring them in with TRM and the import that we talked about. But this is a very good knife company. This is a very small mom and pop. Jacob and Rebecca make these knives, and they do a very, very good job. And they have a knife really for any type of job that you have. They make very purpose-driven knives. They have a lineman, a large lineman for people that work on lines. They have all kinds of different duty knives. You just name it. I think he has too many. Some people don't think he has too many. I like the selection. There are only a few that really are knives I would want to carry, but I think it's great that he's come up with a line. He ground knives. I think I've told this story ad nauseum for 10 years for his dad, who makes bougie folders, bougie that they only sell them in 5 dealers nationwide. But these, if you look at each of these knives, they have a basic description. Then you can click on it. A light slicey hollow grind, a beefy survival saber. So this is a huge knife. A medium slicey hollow grind. One of my favorite, the Mantis, a light versatile flat grind. So if you look at this little knife, you learn that it is 80 CRV. It is, he also does Nitro V. Overall length, 6.75 inches. And it's a little sheep's foot flat. You can get a very similar knife to this called the Falcon in a hollow that's a little bigger. But when we talk about purpose-built knives, so you get down here and you see some bushcrafted knives, and then you see these roughnecks, the jack, the lineman, the splicer. So you click on the splicer. That didn't look like a knife I could use. It's our version of a typical splicing knife made for electrical work, comprised of a short blade and a straight handle. So this is a knife for a tradesman, right? So I'm sure it could be used in EDC situations too. But I think my hat goes off to Jacob because A, I know him, and B, I know these knives like the Lineman XL. He'd made some linemans, and he had some buddies that they thought they were just too small. So he beefed this one up, and this one's 5 3/4 inches. But it's made for one thing. It's made for wire stripping. And it's just cool. I wouldn't use it, but the fact that he makes them is cool. So very good knife company. I would love to bring them in to Knives and More. The Falcon that I was telling you about earlier is this beautiful beast right here. I've reviewed this. My buddy A to Z bought one. It is a hollow grind. Most of this stuff's Nitro V now. This one's Nitro V, even though it says 80 CRV2. That one has carbon fiber handles. That one has fat carbon handles, which means these are his specialties. Usually they're micarta. Little DLC. Beautiful knife. 3.75 inch blade. Overall length, 7 3/4. Some of the best sheaths in the game. Jacob and Rebecca. I'm a big fan. I'm also a big fan while I sit here and just chill. And I don't have affiliate links with any of these people. I still want to. Cliff Rod, what is up, brother? I still want to give them their due. Lucky Dog Knife Company. Andrew, he reached out to me today. I sent him the video I made on this knife that I love. I traded him 6 or 7 Finches, the first 7 Finch knives that came out. I was trying to sell that collection. He wanted that collection. And instead of us selling, we traded. I traded for this knife. I already own a couple of his knives. And I traded for the ranch dog, or the guard dog, which is a semi little hawkbill knife. But he's also got 2 more new knives that I haven't been able to get. And he said, hey, I'd be happy to send it to you. I'd need them back. And I said, Andrew, I don't have to have a free knife to review it. I would love to look at your knives and show them off because I believe in what you do. For one, he's an American guy who's been on the show twice. He's a great designer. And instead of going overseas, nothing wrong with that. I might have a knife made overseas one day. He's found small batch 2 companies, one in Canada, David Mary Customs, and ERC Knives in Iowa, to make small batches of his designs. So you get the best of both. You get a custom-made knife designed by a guy who wants all of his knives to have the same type of soul, spirit. And his background comes from, he's a graphic designer, but he loved a lot of the patterns that his grandfather carried, that his dad carried, but he didn't care much for folding knives. He wanted to bring these designs and these shapes into small EDC fixed blades. So this latest run, like the Bear Dog's a little bit bigger. These all are a little bit longer. When I say a little longer, these come in at 6.5 inches overall, where his first batch with David Mary Customs were closer to 6 inches. But like that jimping on the blade is done with a jimping file. It's not done with the CNC machine. This is his Bulldog Bruiser. The Bulldog is one of my favorites. It's a 4.75 inch knife. My Bulldog is right here. You'll see this in just a little bit, but that's a small Bulldog. People thought that was too small, so he made one with the 2.9 inch blade. This one's 6.5 inches overall, but it's got that ram's, he calls it a ram's foot blade. And then he's got the new Trail Dog. So I might get an opportunity to review a Trail Dog, which were made by ERC, the USA made company. And this is a bigger knife. This is 6.9 inches. Still comes with the leather sheath. Still made by hand to David's specs. And then the Fin Dog, the one we're going to look at next, I really like. This is a splinter digger. It looks super cool to me. These are an AEBL, stone washed. G10 handles. And if you scroll down, you see some of these left over from the last drop, because these drops come in at the same time from David Mary Customs. And some of these are in Grip Tech. This is the Guard Dog, which I love. You can sharpen this with a regular stone, but these are in 15 in, what are they in? 15 and 20. It's got a little hawk bill, but this is a Grip Tech handle, which is that kind of new G10 that's got a little tackiness to it. But very cool knives. I'm going to drop the category in the chat so y'all can look at it at your leisure, and then we'll quit sharing that. But Lucky Dog Knife Company, Chef's Kiss. Hey, Nate 704, what is up, brother? But my little Bulldog, my little 4 3/4 incher that has this really aggressive hand jimps right there. This is a great little box opener, a great little EDC cutter. All David Mary Customs, the Canadian sheaths, are made out of Boltron, which is like Kydex's big brother. It's a little bit more formed, and they all come with a deep concealment and are cut for a deep concealment pocket clip. So all of these are designed to be carried in your pocket, and all the ones made in Iowa come with this sheath. It works very well, except This knife is unfortunately a front pocket rider. It will not fit. My back pocket's not quite deep enough for this unless I move the clip down. So I carry this in my right front pocket. Another fixie I have been loving that I bought. Hey, Nate, good to see you, buddy. I had it to review, and instead of sending it back, I bought it for what it cost. And this is the LTL from Luft Concepts. It is their USA collaboration with the maker in Arizona. It's got the same hand jimps that I like. This is acid washed or acid etched S45. It was $245. I know that's a lot. My little knife with a leather sheath sells for $280, so I can't bitch too much. This one was made with the CNC machine's help, where mine aren't. But this has got rich light handles, a lanyard hole, and a super utilitarian blade. What I really think is also cool about it is it's got a 3D printed industrial sheath, which I didn't know what I was going to think of this, because it comes with an ulti clip that you can mount on either side, right or left-handed. The retention on it, the click, you can hear, listen. But it doesn't, I mean, there's no rattle. It pops right out. It doesn't sound as loud as that one did. Hold on. That's what it normally sounds like. I don't know if y'all heard that. Hero Sticks, what's up? Listen to this. It just barely clicks in, but it holds like a champ. And that's the Luft Concepts LTL, which stands for little. Just did a review on this. Another one that has relegated itself to my right front pocket. It's a great sheath that's made in Dallas, Texas, really thick. It's got a really cool clip that's a little different, but works the same way by clipping your hem. And this is the new TKL Cadet, which is their spin on a nice gentleman's fixed blade. It's got milled aluminum handles that you can get in purple. You can get in black. You can get it a couple other colors. I think pink, maybe a couple other colors. But it's got the nickel boron coated. It looks like stone washing, but it's got that extra nickel boron coating on CTS XHP. So TKL's been moving a lot of their steels away from ADCRV because they were having problems at heat treat. And I know they're moving a good bit of it to Nitro V, and they're doing a lot with CTS XHP, which I like CTS XHP personally. That's what my Shaman was picked up as. Purpose. I got that by purpose. Stan, what is up? Arc and Iron. Dude, I will tell you this. Buy one. They are, where'd it go? It's a great value, even if you want them. This knife has got a thin, sick grind. I put a clip on it, but I always mount my clips high because I like them to ride deep, and I use my thumb to get it out. But this has got, if you have seen a Hinderer slicer, this reminds me of a Hinderer slicer of grind. You've got a full flat all the way up here. And then you've got this little bit of thickening here at the back. You've got a perfect choil. You've got the arc iron right on the spine. It's full tang. It's, I think this one's 3V. 3V blade steel. It's called the Abrams. And one thing I didn't know, but check this out. See those little red pins? Watch this shit. I might have to turn off all my lights. I don't think I can do that quick enough. I'm going to try to show you this thing glowing. See that front pin? It's glowing orange. The designer told me these pins glowed because they're interesting. I've not taken it apart. They're T10s, but then they look like pins on this side, and these glow in the dark. And this is not just rich light. This is rich light and carbon fiber. They also make this in a $69 version in AEBL. This is the bougie one. But this knife is an absolute, that's wet. An absolute shredder. I'm hitting something. Maybe I'm getting close to sharpening it. Hold on. I bet I just got tape there. But it's a very slicey knife, but I'm hitting something. I love this knife. Some people, the guys that I took it to when I was trying to push Kaiser on them to kind of present it to them, they did not like this knife. I personally do. I liked it, and I like the ergonomics of it. I think it's very angular. It's a winner. I'll drop it in the chat. And I'm not dropping affiliate links, so y'all do not worry. These are just straight Kaiser links because they're easier for you to remember. If you want to go back and use my beacons page, if you want to use my links, that's fine. But I'm not going to spam the chat with my affiliate links. This is just will take you to the different Abrams. So you can just at a glance get a price for the bougie one and the more affordable ones. I'll share them real quick and show you guys what we're looking at. The other thing I think made the difference for Knives and More is Kaiser. You can love this design and you can spend $99 on it, which may be more than some people want to spend. But you can get Norplex Ultra X micarta. You can get 14C 28N, the same hardware, the same grind for $70. I mean, guys, that's a great deal. It even comes with liners, where I don't think the dark blue one does. But they make some bangers. I mean, I've really, really honored to have not just grown up around Kaiser, like in terms of with my knife collection. I've been wanting one of these and I can't get one. I love that Tanto Feist. I saw these at Blade Show. They're so good. The Microbe. I love this little knife for a fifth pocket knife. What it is Kaiser's not afraid to collaborate with designers and like Maddie and make knives that they will take a chance on, and they do very well with it. So there's just some cool stuff. I mean, every month, I don't know how this month's going to roll out, a little bit different, but it's always going to be unique stuff. You know, they just came out with, for God's sakes, I saw a review on this. Y'all might have seen it. Check this out. Coming on my next page. Where is it? I might have to search it. Hold on. Blade type. There's only one. Let's do this. Axe. Did y'all see this? I think Jared reviewed one of these. I don't know if that's going to be any good, but it is a little 1095. What is it? A 1 pound axe, 0.9 pounds. So I don't know if that's good for just splitting kindling or throwing, being a throwing axe. Overall length 11.14. So, you know, they're getting into different stuff. So I remember, and then I'll get off of Kaiser. We'll get out of here for good. But I remember when I got the first drop bear fix that I traded with Tactical Terry, but I got the first drop bear fix in the mail. And I was like, this can't be a Kaiser, and I opened it up, and it was a 1/4 inch steel. I didn't get the AEBL one. I got the 1095, which was fine. Here's the AEBL one for $90. That knife, or you can get it for $79. That's the one I had. That knife is 11.8 inches, 0.19 inches thick. It's coated 1095 or AEBL, and I just beat the hell out of it. And I don't know, Terry would have to tell us, but I don't think it had any blade rolls or blade chips when I checked it out. It's got a couple of lashing points. It's got a place in the center of the contoured scales for you to start a fire. Again, I'd spend the extra $10 and get the AEBL if it was me, because that's got my cart of handles as well. They've also got the last one I'll look at, the Sheepdog Survival. I kept that one. The Sheepdog Survival. And you can also get this one. They're both 1095. So you can get it in micarta or you can get it in black G10. That's the one I've got. And this one is 10.6 inches, but it's got this really wicked harpoon for your thumb to rest in. And it's got that forward choil. And I want to make that go away. How do I do that? 57 to 60 for 1095. I don't know how hard that is, but this one's 0.217 thick. So this one's thicker. It's almost 1/4 inch thick. Just a fun knife to go out and beat on trees. Now that I've got my tripod, I can actually do these knives some reviewing good. I've got another knife that I've been dying to review. It's a knife from TKL called their Outrider. It's a recurve blade. It's about this long, and it just needs to go out back and chop some wood. And I've been chopping wood with it, but I have no way to record chopping wood. Well, now I do. I invested at Prime Days for a little inexpensive tripod where I can set my phone on it and not have to move the one off my table. Because once I get things set up, I'm not about moving them. I didn't use it hard. I used it on wood, and then I cleaned it up. What I do, guys, just so you know, I've got this rag by my where I do my knife videos, and this rag's got that KPL, the canola oil or whatever, just the regular carbon steel oils on it, so it's kind of soaked into it. So, like if I get cardboard or tape, I've got alcohol too, but I just wipe my blades with this oily rag, and it's not super wet. It's just damp enough to get stuff off. But yeah, it's been used, buddy. I'm telling you, it's tough. I hear so many horror stories about 1095, and I know there's better steels. But I think when you've got a knife that's been heat treated right and it's that thick, spitting slices. Where'd I go? I've been sending splitting slices stickers out for you guys that have been winning the members giveaways on Sundays. You get one of his stickers too. I've got a few of them left. And nobody would be interested in having a Knives and More that's fashioned like a case sticker, would you? I have access to Knives and More stickers. I've not yet stuck one on my shit, but I'm always looking for stickers, and I'm not buying a lot of stuff, so I don't get a lot of stickers. I'll be honest with you. I'm waiting for the right text, but I'm down to that many giveaways, which is plenty. That's probably 20 stickers, but I've got to usually I've got stickers where I can pass out shitloads. I love to send them I haven't sent any to Ron's Crow because I was going to send him some so he could send them out to his subscribers. It's nice when creators pile their stickers up with each other. So when somebody has a giveaway, they can make a sticker bag like Zach does with a lot of different stickers in it. I used to love getting those. Now all my boxes are covered with stickers. And my new boxes, the 2 boxes, I'll tell you guys, I know I'm going ADHD, but if you're looking for knife boxes, I used to always go to Harbor Freight. My last 2 knife boxes have not been Harbor Freight buys. Only reason is I hated cutting and plucking the foam. So I have found at Amazon several companies that make these pre-foam plucked knife boxes. $58 might be a little high, but that one stores 40 knives and it comes already plucked out. And then you can look at these and you'll find all types of knife storage solutions. I'm not big on the case type of. I thought about getting one of these for my slip joints, but I just got a small case because it's moisture resistant. They have the little gauges, but these are kind of cool. If you've got those military cans laying around, the 50 cal cans, those are little $19.99 inserts that you can convert one of those to be a knife storage solution. But I always used the KPL or the what are they called? It's from Harbor Freight, but they're called the Apache 3800s. The last one I bought that they sold out of, this one's a little more expensive. I was buying the 24 Caval case. This is just like a Caval case, but this one holds 36 knives. This is probably the nicest of the cases, but you're getting up there. But keep in mind, you're getting foam that's already been plucked, and it's high density foam. But you can get them on here for $35, $36 is my point. And they come with the spare foam that I would pull out and use. Like here's one for $44 for 28 knives. The spare foam that I would use to make my shorter knives fit, you get those in the box. So it comes with, it'll show you here that it comes with the stuff already pulled. It's already cut. All you do is pull it out. I don't dig that unless he stuck it back in. I would avoid that one because there's some on here for the same amount of money. Maybe if I go plastic. But knife storage has always been a problem for me. I don't like to store my knives like that, although I have to find a way to store fixed blades better. The case-matics are good, and I don't need to store more than 40 because I want to be able to carry them. Usually that's more than I want to store at a time. But that one has the pre-plucked foam, and it comes with extra foam in case you need to go back in and patch them for smaller knives. Those are the ones I like, where I can put the foam back in. There's the 24. It's currently sold out, it looks like, but it's $36. It's not sold out. So a $36 one holds 24 knives. I'm a big fan of these. I purchased that one. That's this one right here. And I'll tell you the only downside of this one. Let me stop sharing. What's up, Gary?
How's it going?
It's going good, dude. The only downside about this one is the latches are very stiff. Not as much to open, but to close. And then what I do is I put those little desiccant packs that I buy at Amazon, and I just sprinkle them in between my knives when I'm not using them. So it soaks up moisture. But the best one I got at Amazon, and I would have bought more, this one was $69. This is a Caval. Once you look at the foam on you can't really see it, but it's that gray high density foam. It's a totally different kind of foam liner than any of the other cases I've seen. It's much more rugged, more like a now pack. But you have to search those by name. They're called Cavill cases, and they'll get them in stock from time to time. And they had them in stock, and I could have bought two, but I thought the reason I don't want to buy them is not because they're cost prohibited, because I won't get rid of knives fast enough. If I don't have a case for them to go into, I tend to give them away quicker. I don't need to be able to accumulate more knives into the house. That does not need to happen. But I don't see it on there. So what have you been up to, buddy? How's your week been going? It's only Tuesday.
Oh, not too bad. I just been busy. I had a knife day on Monday. I reground one of my cooking knives. It's a chef's knife that I made, and it had I had way too much belly up towards the tip, and I reprofiled it and then reground it, and it ground it even more aggressively. So it just turned into a really excellent knife. It's kind of cool to
reshape it and reimagine it.
Yeah.
What steel were you working with? Magna Max or Magna Cut?
That was Magna Cut. I made this knife like 5-6 years ago.
I got you.
Yeah.
Hey, I had my first experience, and it was no skin off my back because I was showing some shorts from Knives and More yesterday, and they had one of the Benchmade 9400s in the acid etched Magna Cut. And evidently Taylor Hardness tested it at 58. Unacceptable. I saw your video. That was not considered, that was considered, I would think, an unacceptable heat treat, right? At 58. Maybe for a 940, I don't know. But it was close. It was not,
it's not the choice I would make for the trade-offs, but it's still, even Magna Cut at 58 is going to outperform AEBL at a much higher hardness.
Sure.
So it's kind of like, I don't know why they do that, but at the same time,
the dealer, my buddy, the young guy, tells me it's because they basically have their market and they don't have to in their minds. They can do what they're comfortable with, and maybe they'll get there. But I had the Taylor Hardness people come into my comments, and I rarely read them, but I've got a little program now that helps me stay on top of my comments. And a lot of people were saying, oh, that thing's soft as butter. And I was like, butter's much softer than this. Just kind of playing with them, and it turned into these little ugly exchanges. So I finally just backed out, because usually I never mess with comments anyway, because you can't win an argument with someone who's not willing to listen, and there's no need to argue. And I thought about, it's just, I was wondering where they're getting their information. So what I did is I went to the website that he runs and pulled up the one Benchmade that they've punched that did test at 58.3, and it was a Benchmade 940. I don't know if it was the first production or one of the early ones, because they've just started using Magna Cut. And somebody told me today at Knives and More that Spider Co. was going to start using Magna Max as their base steel. Have you heard anything about that from anybody in your circles?
No.
That seems
I've heard they're going to use it on the Mannix as a base steel, but it's not going to be.
That's what it was. I'm sorry. That's what it was. It was on the Mannix series.
Yeah.
That makes me want a Mannix, and I've got one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that'll be cool. I'll tell you, the whole experience with the Taylor Hardness crowd, what a bunch of like man child, like it's just amazing. Now he's blocked me on Instagram now.
To me, that's childish in its own. Because what's funny is I went to your comments, and one of his guys said, are you going to ever test a Creeley blade? And there was nothing else said. And he said, I'd be happy to test a Creeley blade. I'll test anybody's blade that'll send it to me. And I'm thinking, Gary doesn't need you to test his blades, because he tests them and he sends them around to people who beat the shit out of them. You're not going to tell us anything we don't know. You're not like the gatekeeper of all things that are passable in the knife world.
Well, here's the thing. This guy doesn't have any degree. He's just a lab tech. And he's
But he's not a
moonlighting.
metallurgist. I thought somewhere he said he was.
No.
Okay, I didn't know.
He tries to make you think that he is. He's a lab tech.
Just got access to the equipment.
Because he said, "What's your credentials to do this?" I said, 15 years of knife making. What's yours? And he's like, well, first he's like, "Oh, you're an amateur." And then he's like,
So you don't even have to go to personal levels to talk your science. You've got 6 punches of science you can refer to.
And he's like, he said, what else did he say? He said, "I have an ATSM certification." He talked about certification. Yeah, to use the piece of equipment. That's not any major thing. Like, and I said, "You didn't mention a degree," and then he never responded.
That's probably when he blocked you.
Yeah, and then later he blocked me. I believe he came into my comment section of my video calling me an idiot, because I did mention in the video, like, people calling people idiots and stuff. This guy says he's a guy of faith and he's behaving that way.
But you didn't call anybody by name. I'll listen to it. You didn't call anybody out by name, did you?
No. And I certainly didn't call anybody a name.
No. I mean, I'm just saying that all you were doing was talking about your experience and why you wanted to shed light on what's considered acceptable and good for reasons that you might not see right off the edge retention, but there's more to it.
I don't think this guy realizes. I had some, how can I say this without speaking out of school? I had some conversations with some very important, educated people in the knife community who think this guy's an absolute, they just think he's very foolish and off base.
Well, unfortunately, I agree with you. And I think there's some kind of gain that he's probably hoping to get either from monetizing his website with ads or charging. I don't know what he charges to do these tests. I think his grift, I'm not going to call it a grift. I think his plan is you send him a knife, you pay him X amount of dollars, because he said in a post, "This is a knife I tested that I bought with proceeds from my testing up to this point." I think if he was a straight shooter, good guy, he could come up with a really good service that a lot of people would probably stand in line to partner with him on. If he was doing it.
But as you saw how quickly he devolved in.
Well, his letter, yeah, from the beginning, he lost it. He lost the script.
Like, he is a man-child. Like, I just can't think of any way. The way he so quickly flipped and got really nasty with me,
like a 6th grade girl. No offense to 6th grade girls, 6th grade boys too. It's arrested development, and it started when he was talking to the people in the post about the nasty letter he had to send to all the knife companies that he wrote for his friend who doesn't write well or something. And it was a bully letter, where it could have been, if I was his PR guy, I could have written him a letter, or hell, had AI write him a letter. It would have gotten him much more positive results. And people might have gotten behind him and saying, no, maybe the community needs something like this. I don't need it as a maker, because I've never questioned with that, but maybe that would help some of these guys that are, people talk about their stuff because they don't know about it.
Well, like, take for instance, the Benchmade. And let's take, for instance, the science and the metallurgy is what I'm talking about. Now, part of the challenge that I had with this particular post is the knife in question was a Montana knife, and there's a lot of hate out there for Montana. And I understand some of it, but nonetheless, we can't have new rules for Montana because we don't like them.
No gotcha stuff. No, you're right. You judge them on their merits.
So 61 is not a terrible heat treat. It's just not with MagnaCut. You're gaining toughness. Like, there's a lot of reasons why you might want to heat treat it at 61, but more importantly to me, through the whole thing, I mean, honestly, I gained subscribers on my YouTube channel from it, and I gained followers on my Instagram from it. So
you can't lose coming at it with logic and coming at it based with facts.
and and some people reached out to me. Like one knife maker reached out to me and said, "Man, I was on there, and could all these people be wrong?" And he's like, "I think they are." And I'm like, "Yep, they are. They're absolutely wrong."
And,
Yeah.
and you can't blame. You can blame the people that are just singing from the rooftops, but they get to be fanaticals. They're hearing this information from people that I think are divulging bad information.
Incomplete information is what they have a lot of.
Incomplete, right? That's a good point, because you broke it out with the difference in how many cuts it would get versus the hardness test. You went back and forth, and we're real careful to show that's a pretty substantial drop in hardness. When you went from the 61 to the 64, you only picked up 50 cuts in the cut tester, but in the drop in hardness, it was like 13 or 14 pounds you dropped. Am I wrong?
That's just something like that. Yeah. I mean, like,
not
it's trade-off.
insignificant.
It's trade-offs. But they make it seem like, oh, because this is heat treated at 60, nobody over there knows what they're doing. And it's just like, well, that's not necessarily the case. It could just be that they made a different set of decisions, and maybe a different set of decisions that I would make. But it's just, I haven't before necessarily been part of sort of an attack mob coming after me. Now, fortunately for me, they had no clue what they're talking about. And
you've got allies, I would think, that would come out of the woodwork.
Probably.
Without you even being there.
How do you look at my video and say, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about? You know what I mean? Like, how do you watch that video and come away with that conclusion?
You're drawing everything to the literature, the not literature, but Laren's information that's out there. You're referring to his charts. You're showing exactly the differences in those exact numbers and what they mean in two different scenarios that are both equally important when you're talking about knife construction.
And the interesting thing is the video actually did, excuse me, the video did pretty well for me. Yeah, it did pretty well. Let me see here. Yeah, it did. It's up to 2,000 views, which is,
that's excellent.
For my videos and my channel, that's a good video.
Good evening, Sierra Rick.
The comments were pretty good by and large. Oops. Shut that off. Yeah, the comments have been good by and large. 75 comments, so it's pretty good engagement.
That is good. I'll tell you what YouTube Studio lets you do now, and I don't know if it works, but I've tried it. It'll let you take a video and chop it into shorts. It'll automatically chop it into shorts, like a 10-minute video. And if you can say, I want 25-second shorts, or I want 40-second shorts, and you can release them in their shorts, little whatever, the shorts reel or wherever they show it, but you can put a link in that short that links back to the original video. And what I'm doing an experiment with to see is if I post shorts leading to viral, quote unquote, viral moments on these videos, according to YouTube, will I get more people to come back after the video's kind of gotten sitting there and watch it? I don't know. I'll let you know if that works, but you can chop up those videos that perform well and repurpose them as shorts, leading people back to your video that might not have seen it in the first chance.
I did experiment around with like the different titles, and they all did pretty equally in this particular instance. I tried 3 different titles.
My A/B testing comes out within usually 3 points. Every now and then I'll get one that's off the chart, one's better than the other, but it's as many times it's my Canva created video as it is the AI video, or the AI thumbnail. Because I think I told you I ingest my transcript into one little AI program that then spits out the transcript that I can drop in Chat GPT with a little prompt asking it to play the role of an SEO specialist and come up with catchy titles based on this content for this video. And it
Interesting.
spits out amazing stuff. I mean, it's scary.
Interesting.
I agree, Dan. I think for us that aren't really that worried about the toughness that we're chasing heat treat, I think you can go too high and get some issues that you don't necessarily need. You're not going to benefit from the additional toughness from maybe the one HRC that could cause you chippy, snappy problems. I think there's a sweet range there. Um, I'm learning about it. I did break out Laren's book again and was disappointed that I couldn't find the charts that you were referring to, Gary. And I went to his website, Nice Steel Nerds, and didn't see him either. And I'm assuming you probably made those charts, didn't you?
No, they're right off of his website.
Off of Nice Steel Nerds?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, they're right off his website.
I'll go back and look for them because I was going to talk about it. Not in a live stream, but I do blade battles from time to time where I'll take two knives and pit them up against each other. And I had one that was AEBL, one that was 3V. And I just did a little AI search to see the differences in 3V and AEBL because I'm that green. And it told me that 3V was considerably tougher. It was a high toughness where AEBL was moderate. AEBL was a little better stainless, but 3V was going to have better edge retention too. I don't know if that's accurate.
No, not completely. I would say 3V is a little tougher than AEBL. AEBL is about the toughest stainless you can buy.
Right. This is the way they broke it down. They said that 3V is a high vanadium tool steel. I don't know if that's true. And then AEBL is a high carbon, fine grain stainless steel. And then it says toughness, it gives 3V an exceptional rating, and it gives AEBL a high rating, which is right under exceptional. It's not saying that it's much, much worse.
Yeah. All right.
But I don't know. It does say that the corrosion resistance that AEBL is more fully stainless and highly resistant to rust and stains, where 3V is not as much. It has vanadium and chromium, but can rust. But these are little blurbs that are kicked out by Google's AI when you put in a search like that. Then you can go down and you can find Laren's page where it talks about it. Marcus, have you been in timeout? Dude, I'm going to make you a mod and you won't be in timeout again. Y'all, is somebody putting you in timeout? Y'all tell me if you're getting bullied in the chat. I was going to talk about that tonight, but I was hoping we weren't going to have to. Marcus, you are a moderator. With that comes great responsibility. I can take it away, but that just means that you can share links as long as they're good links, sharing your friends or your social, and it'll keep people from putting you in timeout, hopefully. That's a kind of a Shane used to be the worst, but he hadn't been in lately. But every time he'd greet somebody new, he'd put them in timeout for like 5 minutes. Just for fun. And it's a Shane thing that people that are around know, but the new people don't know it. They're just sitting in timeout going, what the heck happened? Why can't people see my comments?
So, according to the chart, 3V is really tough.
See, I couldn't find the chart because that's what I wanted to look at.
Well, let's see.
Your video did help me read what I was looking at in those charts, which I couldn't read before.
So, actually, 3V at 60 Rockwell on the one chart is at 35 or 36 foot-pounds. AEBL... Find AEBL at 60 Rockwell is 37 pound-feet. Now, if you take AEBL up to 64, now you're down to 11 pound-feet.
So you've lost a lot of toughness in that last little one. So see, I don't think people are thinking about that when they're chasing the high HRC. And I think you made a good point about that, about going for, what do you call them, extreme heat treats?
Aggressive.
Aggressive. You used a different word, aggressive. Yeah.
So even if you look at
Chris,
even if you look at MagnaCut down, let's go down here to 50. Did you say it was 58? That
Benchmade?
Yeah. 58 or 59?
I'm gonna tell you exactly. I think it's 58.3, but let me just pull it up. I think it's 58 point, maybe even be higher than that. I don't want to mislead it. Go database. Benchmade. It is 59.3, which is lower than the CPM3 S30 tested, and lower than the 20 CV tested.
You said 59.3?
59.3 on a Mitsubishi HR 530.
Okay. So MagnaCut at that hardness is going to have better edge retention than 440C, than 14C28N, than ABL, than BD1, than LC200N, than Nitro V, then 52100 if you want to go into that kind of steel. So it's still very functional,
right? Does the toughness, does he rate the toughness that low? I couldn't find it where the line went back that far in toughness.
Let me see if I can find the toughness at that hardness.
I'm curious because I know the Osborne design is designed by a rancher to be more tough than it is slicey.
All right, where are you at, MagnaCut?
I hear you, Sierra Rick. I don't want anybody to get bullied or not feel comfortable in the chat. I'm trying to watch it tonight better than I usually do.
Okay. As low as he goes with his test is 60, just under 61. That puts it right around 18 pound-feet. I'm guessing if you brought it to 58, you might get above 20. You might be at 22, 23.
So it's probably just a non-optimal heat treat, no matter how you look at it. It's not.
It's
Could you sit in a business in a boardroom going, guys, we need to? Is there a reason that you'd have to hold it back at 58 instead of 60 or 61?
Well, okay. Let's say you're running it at 58. What is your disadvantage? Well, you're 5 points lower, and if you figure you're giving away 20 to 30% of your edge retention running it at 58. That's your downside. Your upside is your toughness is going up. They don't do a whole lot of machining on it once it's hard, so that's kind of neither here nor there. But you get that increased toughness, which reduces warranty claims. That's where the money piece comes in for businesses.
And I'm trying to think if they even upcharge much for that, because I don't think MagnaCut is one that's upcharged that much for. I'll have to look.
What do you mean upcharged?
In terms of, like, if you look at a MagnaCut knife versus the same knife in S30, is it $30 more for the knife, or is it $15? I don't remember.
Steel's almost the same price.
I know it is, but I think that the marketing it jumps it up a little bit. I don't know how much, and like Shane and I can't figure out why that would be. Why the cost, unless the machining cost and the working cost is more.
No. Working on MagnaCut or S30 or S35, or we just look at the list here. 154 CM or SPY 27 or N690 or M390. Working on any of those steels is about the same, and the cost is about the same. Why one is more than another, I don't know.
Yeah, it could be supply and demand from the supplier, for all we know. I don't know how often they change the prices of that stuff, if it's like a commodity or if it's set.
It's pretty set. I mean, it's changed because of tariffs and some other things.
because it's coming back into the country now, right? MagnaCut doesn't.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it's made Aerosteel's in, is it Austria?
Aerosteel is based in France, but the steel that we're getting for most of these is melted in Sweden.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But it was tough. I mean, there was just another comment. I put an Instagram post to just, that I was doing the video. Everybody wants to have an argument about Montana. I'm not talking about Montana. I don't care about Montana. I'm talking about metallurgically, 61 is fine.
And people, but they don't hear that. What's up, Kathleen? I'm glad you stopped to say hi, young lady. People that are passionately against or passionately for a company like that, there's no logic that's going to be betrothed on any of them. They're going to be cheering from their sideline, and it's kind of simple and juvenile. It's unfortunate, but it happened with the Bark River thing up until I think he finally put his thing out. It was just one of those things where
still had some people defending him.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things that who knows why people feel so passionately, maybe because they've invested a lot of time, energy, and finances into those brands, and they want to see, it not be true. Who knows? Who knows why humans do what they do? We're a strange species, that's for sure.
Yeah. I was talking to, I don't know if you know Jacob, what's Jacob's last name? Peterson.
I know who he is. I've seen his videos.
His point, and it's true, is what ends up happening with some of these people, they really get fixated on like the hardness channel or this thing, and they're really into it, and they're into it for 2 to 4 years, and then they're off to something else. But it becomes their identity. And these rules, MagnaCut has to be this or that. It becomes not just a thing that you understand as a fact or not. It becomes part of who you are. And if I say, no, that's probably not 100% true, the way they're reading it is, you're attacking who I am. You're saying who I am isn't true. That's
not what you're saying at all, but people do internalize things like that. I see it in the chat a lot.
Yeah, that's I think what was going on psychologically there. It was crazy.
It's something that, like when I do my little fun blade battles, they're knives that I bought and I own, and they're both great knives. We're going to look at them with these different variables and have a little fun time to see which one gets the check and which one comes out on top. But that doesn't mean that the other one loses. It just means that there are differences in these different areas, whether it's fit and finish, whether it's ergonomics, whether it's sliciness, whether it's toughness, whatever it is. But I did finish the MagnaCut. I have to go get my pad and see how many little rows of 5 I have, but I know it's well over 100 and something.
Mm-hmm.
So I've quit on my MagnaCut. Now I'm working just my Magnamax, trying to get it not to cut.
Okay.
Hopefully by the weekend I'll be able to put something out. It's going to be non-scientific because I'd feel embarrassed, but I should be able to tell you it's 20, 30, 40% in my experience, or whatever it is.
Yeah, it should be. It should be. So I got I sharpened with a Cutter Master. It's like, I think I showed it to you guys one night. It's like a Tormek style machine, but it's different, but they have their latest model out, and I got one. And I got a 100 grit wheel. Now, poly resin 100 does not behave like actual 100. It probably behaves like 300 maybe, or something like that, which is still relatively coarse, but it's cutting down my sharpening time by a mountain, and I'm getting a little more aggressive edge, which I like.
And that's your main cutting stone? That's the one you're using to...
Well, it's that, and then buff.
Okay.
Boom, boom. Yeah. And I'm really liking the edges I'm getting. Technically I could make a sharper edge than that, but yeah, I definitely...
You don't need to. You don't need to. Quick man hug. sticking with me, brother. I hope you stop by on Sundays. I'm using their Amazon boxes that my dad's booze shakes come in. I need to measure it, but they're like 16-inch strips when I cut the sides out. So I'm cutting probably 15, 16-inch strips per each of the 4 sides, or probably half of that on 2 of the sides. So, and now what I'm doing is I'm just got my all my links are the same, and I'm just doing 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a line through it as I cut 5. And I usually do 10 with one knife, 10 with the other knife to keep them. Then I'll clean them off because I don't want them to get tape on them. But anyway, it's eye opening because the geometry of these knives are identical, and I think they're sharp. I'll tell you what I've got tomorrow night. What's going to be interesting. I'm having a private. I guess you'd call it a StreamYard. It's more of a WebEx call with Dmitry over in Russia. He's the TS Prof guy. They're like Russian PR guy, maybe. And he's going to see how our language gap is and if he feels comfortable coming on Friday Night Flicks to kind of talk about what their plans are going forward and what their plans are in the States.
Russian PR guy. That's like an oxymoron.
It is. Well, like I told my buddy Kyle, because they've been real hard to get in touch with, I was like, dude, Victor, a guy who used to be our contact, I hope Victor's still with us. For all we know, he could be out in the field somewhere running from drones. It's just a different world there, I would think.
So 440 decades ago was a top choice. And today, it's still not a terrible choice. And, like for edge retention alone, just looking at the chart here, let me get to the edge retention again. What was that? Yeah, there it is. For edge retention, if you run 440C up to, say, 62, you're above 14C28N, you're above ABL, you're above, even if you run ABL a lot harder, you're still above it with 440C.
Why is that still looked over, do you think, more now? Is it because of the perception, or is there a downside to working with it, or is it availability?
No. So 154 CM was kind of the next evolution of 440C. They're in that same family. And so it was just improved. I don't know if they added some vanadium. I forget exactly. But chemically, they're very similar. They're out of a very similar time period. But 440C suffers from what 14C28N suffers from, and a few other, and D2, which is the Chinese get it, do a crap job on it, mislabel it, and then everybody thinks it's crap. And it probably wasn't even 440C. So like AUS 6, AUS 8, and AUS 10, those are 440A, B, and C.
I got you.
But Japanese version. And then a lot of the 8CR MOV, 8CR14 MOV or whatever, a lot of that is 440B, I believe. But 440C was kind of the nicest in the 440 range. And in fact, I believe in the early days, what we now call S60V was referred to as 440V.
I got a question in 2 seconds. I got to give Sierra Rick for being so kind a man hug real quick. Thanks, Sierra Rick. Oh, wow, my thing's flagging. So when you've got the different C, is that just a little added something here or there to make that property, that steel, a little better? Because if I'm understanding correctly, Case uses a form of 440 for their stainless steel, and they use a form of 1095. 420. Okay.
420. That's a different animal.
Paul Mills throwing out a man hug. Dude, you got one coming right back at you. Thanks, buddy. I think I told you I purchased. There are a couple of case patterns I've kind of fallen in love with. Well, one of them is the case cheetah cub because the first one I bought was stainless. We got some in last week that were carbon steel, and both of those knives, like the case old timers cope is, they make it dull like that so you can put your own edge on it. So I came home and I got my field
So
sharpener
couple of them.
and put my edge on both of them. Well, the stainless steel was not nearly as pleasant as the carbon steel to get an edge on. And Tate, the young guy there, told me it's because they use an ingot form of whatever they're using for their stainless, and it's got larger carbides that are harder to sharpen on a smoother stone. So I just like carbon steel. I don't know why. I don't know what's drawing me to the case knife. I think it's these old men are rubbing off on me. I've got to get out of this experiment before too long.
Yeah, I mean, 420 is a real turd. Like 420 maximum hardness is like 56 or 55.
What were the old 110s in? Was that 440 or 410?
So before the mid 80s, those were 440C. And then Buck switched to 440 HC and told everybody that it was a wonderful choice and it'll be easier to sharpen. It's easier to sharpen. It's easier to dull too. They forgot to mention that piece.
Right.
A lot easier. You know, they went from like one of the best steels available to a really mediocre steel. Cutco, if you've ever seen a Cutco demonstration, when I was a youngster, I sold some Cutco back in the day. But that's 440B, as in Bravo, which is a step down from 440C, probably a step up from 420.
But it sharpens easier. It's easier to get back to edge or not?
Yeah, it sharpens easy. Dull's easy too.
Those are kitchen knives, right? Cutco?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
But it's pretty highly stainless. It's not a bad steel, just it's not a great steel. You know, they're like surgical steel. Well, surgical steel is disposable.
Well, and it's funny because we have the people that come in to buy kitchen knives from us, and it's probably 5 to 7% of our customers, and they're very affluent, and they're coming in. The knives they're having sharpened, they bought the guy who sharpens them says this was an expensive set, but the value is not in the blade steel; it's in the handle. But we sell, I think, Shuns and Wusthoffs and a couple of different grades, Wusthoffs, and then we sell Dexters. But when you talk about knives like yours in Magnamax or something in Magna Cut, it seems to me that would be if somebody would make a knife at a decent price, that you could revolutionize kitchen cutlery with the right people talking about it. In terms of the value that you're going to get from not having to sharpen it all the time if you're using it on a cutting board.
Yeah.
Those kitchen chefs don't know. Even the people that are working in restaurants, bringing their knives in every week for sharpening, don't realize that if I sought out a better steel, I might not have to do this but once a month. I don't know that's the case, but it just seems to me that area is not even being explored.
It's underserviced with high-end steels for sure. And a lot of guys will make kitchen knives in AEBL. And
I think Microtech did the M390 MK on theirs. Benchmade didn't do Magna Cut. I think they did S30 on theirs.
Yeah, Magna Cut's been a better choice.
Yeah, I just can't. Even at 58, right?
One of the things with kitchen knives is a lot of these companies. That's not what I was going to say. VG10. That's very common in Japanese kitchen knives. VG10 is really just alteration of 440C. So talking about 440C. VG10 is similar to 440C. There's a little more vanadium in it, but very similar. So, you know, those knives, yeah. And Magna Cut can do, just looking at the chart here, one of the things about MagnaCut is because it can get so hard. Not that it still can get that hard, but you put MagnaCut at 64, and you're a good 40% more edge holding than 440C or VG10.
That's a lot of squash.
I don't see where Laren put VG10. Oh, there it is. Yeah, he has VG10 marginally above 440C. He actually has it marginally above 3V, which is interesting. He has it there at about 60.
What up, Relic?
He has it there at 61. But yeah, but a lot of people are going to could run it harder. Like he's got 3V at 60, and I'm just really curious when I run that at 64, how it's going to perform.
When you do something like that, is it going to be a very small batch to test, or are you going to just run it and gun it?
I'm going to run 100 of them. So
okay.
Not that small.
That's not small.
Yeah, not that small.
So you've got a good enough hypothesis that it's not going to be. I mean, you've got, sounds like, data points to back your assumptions up.
I have a very educated guess. Let's put it that way.
Same thing. I like your assumptions better. They sound more planned out. But a guess is planned out too.
See, the whole delta heat treat thing was leaning into 3V's toughness. And it's already naturally tough. So why not try to push that hardness up and have a really nice balanced steel? That's just my idea. So I saw the movie tonight. I went out and saw I really liked it. What was it called? Disclosure Day.
What's that about?
It's about telling everybody about the aliens that we always knew about. Yeah.
That sounds pretty. Was it sci-fi or was it more suspense or drama or?
I was hoping for more sci-fi, but Steven Spielberg wrote the story, I think. But it was kind of suspense, kind of on the suspense side a little bit, but sci-fi also.
I don't know if I told you, but since I was a kid, I had a real bad ADHD. I was just diagnosed when I turned like 42 when I got sober. But it's one of those things that I could never sit through a movie because I would get real fidgety. The Titanic was the last movie I saw, and it was just painstaking for several reasons. But over in Atlanta, when Shane and Ryan and I were there, we got back from Blade Show early on Sunday, and this movie was on that Shane said was good called The Accountant. Have you heard about it?
Oh, yeah.
I'd never heard of it. So anyway, I got enthralled with this movie, and I missed the first probably 30 minutes, which I'm going to go back and watch it all again. But it's the first time a movie literally had my attention captivated. Now, again, I was being treated for ADHD, chemically, and I'm not drinking. So maybe that had something to do with it. But I just found the plot in that movie intense, where it sounds like the movie you saw could have some really good leads for intense writing.
It was very thought provoking. It was interesting. It wasn't quite as sci-fi as I had hoped, but the other movie I want to see, I forget the name of it. It's the one where it's the science teacher wakes up on a spaceship and he doesn't know how he got there, and the sun's dying or something and he has to fix it. I forget the name of that one.
I'm so unplugged from stuff like that. I need to get more plugged into it.
Yeah. Tuesdays they have half price tickets at AMC, so that's why I go see movies on Tuesdays.
I can remember when I was a little kid, even though I'd be running around a lot, but the experience in a theater is so much better than even in a good theater room in a house. I mean, there's some houses that have killer theater rooms, but a movie theater to me was always kind of grand.
Yeah. I like the experience.
I think when I got older, kind of claustrophobia and the ADHD and usually being on a date or something that was a weird situation made it not as enjoyable for me. I think more anxiety was.
Tell me more about this weird situation date. I want to hear that story.
I think it was just me not being comfortable in my skin. And when I went to movies as a kid with my cousin and shit like that, there was no pressure. But when I went in high school and I was having to sit by a date, you had all that other stuff you're thinking about, bad stuff, and then being a wimp like I was, it's just it was just traumatic. And then to try Titanic, I saw with my ex-wife, and we were happily married at the time. I just remember going, "This is the longest movie." God, this is the longest movie. And I just didn't get much out of it. I think it's because I checked out of it early on. I think if I went back and watched it, I'd probably get a lot more out of it.
Jack.
Yeah, no doubt, and
Near, far, wherever you are.
And I mean, the beginning was cool, I guess, where they found her little ingot down there and they backtracked through it. But to me, that also was like a foreshadowing of me being old. And I was like, I don't want to watch this. But The Accountant, now that was cool. I like an autistic Ben Affleck. I think he's the best role when he doesn't say much.
Okay. Well, hey, I just wanted to pop in and say hello.
I'm glad you did, buddy.
And I'm getting tired here, so I'm gonna
get you some rest.
Hey.
I'll be here Friday, and I'll shoot you a link. Maybe we'll have some sharpening guys to listen to. I'll talk to him tomorrow night and see how he feels.
All right.
I've seen Dimitri on their channel before. I think he has pretty good English.
I'll keep my cracks about Russia to a minimum.
It doesn't matter, man. I'm sure he's got bigger problems like those. What's that buzzing noise over me?
You hearing any drones?
No doubt. Oh, dude.
All right.
Have a good night,
folks.
Gary.
All right. Good night.
Bud.
Yep. You got it.
Good night, Gary, says Paul. Let's add those back up there. But yeah, guys, so hopefully my call tomorrow night with Dimitri will be interesting. And he can come tell us what's going on with TS Prof and maybe answer any questions. Maybe Kyle will join us. And we'll just see what's going on there. It won't be tomorrow night. If it'd be anything, it'll be in the future. But he just wants to see if we can connect at this distance. And I'll listen really closely, and I'll try to screen record any explosions I hear in the background. But I never see anything on the news about that conflict. Just because I don't watch news because it's depressing. I should. I watch other stuff that's depressing. Here's my little carbon steel cheetah cub. I know for people who hate slip joints, and this isn't a slip joint. But I really do like a carbon steel better than a stainless steel. And I won't want it to patina. I'll try to keep it cleaned up like I have with my GECs. But it just does make a easier sharp edge. I gave it like 10 passes on my smooth diamond stone, and it got good and slicey. And then today, I'm carrying an old favorite. And I haven't cut with it, but I know I could. This isn't my number one, but it's one of my faves. This is the Devo Knives Nip Slip. In S90V and glow carbon fiber. Just a little thin slim slip joint. I think OEM'd by QSP, but I could be wrong. It is. Oh, dude, it's such a good movie. Sierra Rick, what are you watching? Are you watching Netflix or are you just watching one of your movie channels? I've got to go find it again. I've got a Netflix account. It's funny. I let my daughter use it in Nashville. I always have to authenticate for her. So it looks like I'm up there on vacation. As I'm sitting here showing off some of my favorite blades, the Lynch Blade Swift 6 is a beauty. One I'm trying to get my hands on is a Hellbender. Newt, which is similar to this. Yeah, I've heard Baptism. The second one is not good because it goes back into the childhood. What's funny is Shane was trying to play the mentalist with me, and he says, "You're never going to guess who this Nemesis guy is." And I was like, "Yeah, it's his brother." And he's like, "What do you mean it's his brother?" I was like, "We haven't seen his brother since these early scenes. It's got to be his brother because he hadn't gotten killed yet or anything." And Shane got all quiet, and it turned out it was his brother. Didn't mean to make a spoiler for anybody, but what a great movie. Really good scenes. And I like that lady. I don't find her like sexy. I just like the way she acts. I find her to be wholesome. I forget her name, Anna Harris or Ferris or whatever her name is. I had the Sparrow 7 too, but the little Swift 6 is just a little 6-inch knife. And what I love about this is it's a personal preference, but it's crew wear. And I love crew wear. It's got a really thin handle with a single choil. Just a little slicer. And it's got a unique sheath that rides high. Some people don't like that. My boss at Knives and More doesn't because he likes to just grip a handle and yank it out like a caveman. But I know that I can put my finger down here in my pocket and hit that push. And it's coming right out of my pocket. He was a terrible Batman, Sobex. And I wasn't a big fan of him in Good Will Hunting. I do remember seeing parts of that movie. Maybe not the whole movie. Where is my sheet? All right. And then another knife I've got to review, and a guy I want to get on the channel is not your average Cooper, a little guy by the name of Cody Cooper who makes full-size knives, but he also had these handmade minnows on his table at Blade Show. And I ended up buying this. Nicole, Bugsy's wife, introduced me to this guy. And this is a deep hollow ground, super slicey little 80 CRV, small fixed blade with the pocket dropper sheath. And he is a nice, interesting guy. He has some really big, cool knives too. This is all I could afford, and it was kind of my jam. But I've got a review coming on that, and I want to get him to be a guest just because he'll be fun. And the other guy who I want to have a guest on here, and I will, God is my witness, is this guy right here. And it's going to, Shane would be smiling if he was watching, but this guy's not for everybody. But I think he could be. He's, let me find him. Let me find my man. Y'all seen him before. I don't know if y'all seen any footage from the Rush concerts. I can't post them on here because I'll get struck. But man, that Anna Ferris or whatever her name is, not Ferris, but the drummer that's taking Neil's chair is just killing it. They're so good. This guy here, man, he's a knife maker. He's a personality in and of himself. He's a Marine. He's a survivalist. He lives in Appalachia. And his personality is second to none. Again, I met him at Blade Show and we talked for like an hour. He's just, I don't remember him being that clean cut. He wasn't that clean cut. So I want to see him just doing something without sound. Let's see.
In a teepee with little itty bitty sticks, and I set the whole side of the mountain on fire in 10 minutes. I don't get it.
He makes funny videos.
Y'all think it looks done? Maybe, but it's still squishy in the center. So I'm not trying to get the dookies up here. I lost my only good pair of underwear. I mean, I'm sure I got some soy sauce.
He's just a good content creator too.
Call it sushi. And I think it's from that daggum halfway raw fish eye, my body wouldn't know the difference.
Do not whatsoever trust a fart.
But I kind of had a vision in mind of cooked fish jerky. Smoking string. And that's what I want.
But they just exist out in the, and like those are bobcat teeth around his neck.
Similar people. I'm committed to the bit. How is it so hard for me to light a fire in a teepee with little itty bitty sticks, and I set the whole side of the mountain on fire in 10 minutes?
He's just not right. But anyway, really nice guy, makes knives. This is his knives, one of his knives. And he's just a trip. He was in several theaters. He's very much, I think, a guy that is a badass below the surface, but when you see him, he's not that much of a badass because he's just so friendly. But I think this guy's seen some shit. I don't know if y'all saw last time when we were doing those where they were showing him pewing, taking pops at like, yeah, right here.
All right, we are back. We are live. I've got the 6.5 dialed in. We are at 280 yards.
280 yards.
I'm going to be using 140 grains. I want to, I'm going to try to hit this thing in the upper portion of the plate just to give it some love on that downward momentum. And let's do it. Here we go.
He's just a trip. I just think he'd be fun. I'd love for you guys to meet him because, again, I bumped into him and it turned into a hour and a half conversation because he's just that guy. I mean, he's very, very magnetic and he's got a lot to say, a lot to talk about. He's just a cool, cool dude. Just a very friendly guy. Very friendly guy, Mr. Steven. Served our country bravely. Ethan. I said Steven. Ethan. He's Shane's buddy. Shane introduced me to him. Shane and him were buddies. They met earlier in the day. Johnny Darko with steroid six-pack. Dude, it's scary what those guys put themselves through to get on to be in different roles. I mean, to me, it's nuts. It can't be healthy. But then again, I can't really judge because I'm sure my sleep pattern, because I don't need a lot of sleep, I never have. I'm sure that's going to eventually catch up with me where I should be getting more sleep. Show y'all a couple of quick knives that we got in at Knives and More. I don't know if y'all have been looking for Avalons. I know they're kind of hard to find. That's the new Protect button lock that Sean Atmore put out. But we got an Del Fuego today. That's the aluminum with the that Del Fuego pattern with the pearl inset, a black blade. And we also got in a green. We got in a green, 2 green rock eyes. One of them sold. That's a full-size rock eye automatic. And we got a green Avalon. And then we got in this Vero Synapse, which is different from the old Synapses. Is the front is not micarta. It's full aluminum, and it's Magna Max instead of Magna Cut. So those are knives that came into Knives and More that are available. Let's see. We got a Spada. That was a group of us at Blade Show. I'm not going to dox anybody, but if you're in here, you know who you are. That was over at Brother Sharif's booth, Mangana Steel. I'm the muscular guy sitting down here at the end next to Shane. He looks like he's carrying a baby on his chest. We have got micros or mini stitches. We've got mini amphibians, and we have mini MSIs. If anybody's looking for any of those knives, call me up or call down there. They've got 2 Halo 4s If anybody's looking for a bougie single action out the front, those are available. That's AI. That was me taking a picture of Shane asleep when I went to the bathroom and then told AI to ingest his picture and make him look like a fairy peacefully sleeping amongst his people. That's my buddy who died and his wife. And that's my buddy who died and me about 30 years ago, rocking that shit. There's my better half, my daughter. There is the quintessential case buyer and my partner on the left there, Tate, one of the owners down at Knives and More. There's Puck. Puck's gone. We don't know where Puck went. Puck's gone on his way, or he's found better places, or he was consumed. I was just scrolling through to see if I had anything cool here on my screen from the shop, and I don't. I don't. Oh, well. I am going to get a pillow. I've got to get something to go inside my waistband with my EDC. It's got cloth on the back of it, but I want something softer. IWB pillow. Dan, I'm sure Puck's fine. Puck was a cat that he hadn't chosen me fully. He started coming around and he'd come in the house to eat. He spent the night here maybe twice, but usually he'd come in and eat, then he'd leave. And he disappeared around Blade Show, and my mom was taking care of Tippy, the other cat. Who knows, you know? He was a male. He was doing his thing. I dug him, but I don't know if he would have ever been fully domesticated or ever wanted to be. Fed Harrison, what's up? He did take that picture. I didn't see you in here, brother. Good to see you, Fed. Fed's one of my old school Blade Show brothers. And he'll tell you, we see each other in just rapid passing. It is insane trying to keep up. Well, just trying to see Blade Show is one thing, but then trying to coordinate to go anywhere and get everybody on the same schedule is just insane. I was going to show you another picture Fed took, and he sent me that I thought was cool. I think this is Miss Bees. I think this is Bees' wife. She's closer to the camera, but that's us waiting for our rides. I don't know if I can zoom on it. Let's see. There's me and Miss Bees. I am a little old man, aren't I? I'm a little old man wearing a Gavin Hawk shirt, rocking some skate shoes and skinny jeans. What the fuck's wrong with me? We do have a couple of Spyderco Autonomy 2s, the Spyderco Auto. For those of you Spyderco nuts, we got a couple of Microtech little Skinner blades. That's an 8-inch blade. It's a little larger for me. It's called the Acris. Their new little EDC fixed blade. That was a Blade Show post somebody made. They're talented people in this community. I fell for one last week, big time. I stepped in one. I forget what it was. And I wasn't sharing, and I thought I was. It's a great time, guys. I can't wait till they bring Nashville back. I hear they're bringing Nashville back next year, or maybe late this year, which is a close show for me. It's just a day drive. But it's more knives, less knives, but you see a few people. But Blade Show Atlanta for me has just been, Ryan Ellis has made it a blessing for me to get there, but just to see people, even if it's just for a short time, it's just like it was 5 minutes ago, even though it was a year ago that we see each other. So Bex, we would have a blast, buddy. Shane will tell you I'm the most low key guy to room with. I take up such little space. I walk with a whisper like an Indian. They put me on a sofa bed. The first night I woke up on the couch, I thought, sofa bed might work good. And I sleep an hour spurt. So I unrolled the sofa bed, laid on it, slept for about an hour, woke up, felt like I'd been broken down like a shotgun. I hated it. I never unrolled that sofa bed again. I would just curl up on one of the two cushions. Bob Tism and I hung. I'm going to help him navigate up the East Coast. One day we're going to take a road trip for fun, see the country. Yeah, Bob Tism and I had the Demco that wouldn't find my house. The only knife that's been delivered to me, except for my ordered these scales for my voodoo, these jungle scales, and out of everything I've ordered over 5 years, which I can't begin to tell you how many orders that is, these got lost. No knives replaced them. Nothing else has gotten lost. And we thought Bob Tism's knife that he sent me to use on a video, because I didn't have one, had gotten lost. And instead of delivering it to me, because it sat in Huntsville for like a month, they sent it back to him. This is a good knife that I don't carry enough. I don't know if y'all have the Null Knives Voodoo. Lord Needham traded me or sold me this. He wasn't 100% satisfied because it's not just dead nut centered. To me, it's dead nut centered. Whoops. But he's one of those that it matters, which I love being able to trade with those guys. A great knife. I was going through this box, which I don't carry much out of, but I've got some fine slicey little knives like this Quiet Carry Waypoint on washers, and I think it's Vanex, so it's, rust proof. A great little knife. I should carry more. This Mr. designed ISO is one of the cleanest. This has got a compression lock, people, just like the Spyderco did before the patent ran out. Deep hollow ground S90V blade, and it's got your compression lock. Probably my most expensive, besides my Evo, imported knife. I bought this from Mr. Designs for $400. It is titanium and MagnaCut. It uses a new locking system. And I just fell in love with it. It's huge. It is a honking big ass knife. Deep hollow ground, MagnaCut blade, OEM by Bestech. It's got these things on the side, which if I could reach them, I could use that to pull the blade back. But it's also got this flat thing that when the knife comes up, it locks over. You're going to see this part back here come over the tang. So it locks up there and there. And when you pull that back, it just sucks it in. That is the Mr. Designs Atlas. Edgy, my brother, we were talking about you. I forget what we said about you. It wasn't bad, though. Oh, I know what we said. We were doing this. We were going here, and we were talking about you being my roommate at Blade Show, and I was showing everybody the origination of that lovely picture of you looking like a very comfortable nymph in your garden of fairies. And then I went back and I found that. That's me and my dead buddy playing guitar when he was alive and young. We were coked out of our brains. And then that's him and his second wife about a year before he kicked the oxygen habit. And then that's my daughter. And then there was that Shane. Where is it? It's right up here, I think. Or maybe down the other way. The other thing I showed Shane was this picture here. And I forgot who made that. The Hangover Blade Show 2026. And then we had this picture of all of us sitting around crashing Manganus's booth. And then me and Miss B's getting ready to eat me. She's sizing me up for my weaknesses. She thinks she can take me. I believe she could. But that's what we were doing, dude. You got a link if you want to jump up. I know you're probably busy doing stuff. I did put that in my top knife video from last week. My number one. I've got to get this out there more. People comment on our shorts all the time. You guys need a fret in your life. You need a fret. With the Terry sheath. What is everybody carrying today? I haven't done that in a long time, but if you drop your carries in there, I'll start out by telling you what I carried. I started out carrying my EXO by Riot, and I finished up with my Unizon, my nip slip, and my Venari is what I carried today. In my Tactical Terry wallet. And my M-Seer D3 little light. I got a video coming on this. I love this little thing. $35, people. I like it so much. Nothing, Alexa. That I bought the one that runs on 18650s too. Very cool lights. And then this Workos I got off of Amazon for $35, runs off the same software. So I can click this a bunch of different times to get it to do a bunch of different things. This one's a throw light. So it shoots a long, thin beam, the throw light, not a floodlight. It's also got a longer tube if I want to put an 18650 in it, but I keep it blinking so I can find it. Party mode. Those LEDs flash different colors. They're not flashing different colors. Hold on a second. There they are. No sweat, brother. Pair 3. The Kubi, Vagrant, and the CRK Spew. I love the Spew. What a great little slicey Warncliffe. Who did I mess up here? Were you the first one? I think you were. All right. That's a nice carry, my man. Kubi Vagrant. Is that a little fixie? ABW number 3. button liner with the newly installed skiff washers. Nice, Scotty. I love some fresh skiffs. They smell like victory. I've got a couple of sets, but they don't fit anything I want to put them in. I need to order some more. Golden Design Works, Subcaliber in Mars Valley. Ooh, I love Golden Design Works. I don't know if I've seen this Subcaliber. I'm going to have to pull that up real quick. Uh-oh. I love that knife, Thomas. That's where Cole got the idea for the Tri-Stash. That's that button actuated frame lock from back in the day. I love it. I love it. Beautiful knife, dude. Beautiful, nice. Hinder half track with 3-dog knife composites mammoth 2 scale. Ooh, was in the pocket along with the Kaiser Abrams fixie. Love the Abrams fixie. I love my half track. My only gripe, it's my fault. I put the Hinder a clip on it that's a little stiff from Lynch. Mine's got the Warncliffe in MagnaCut and micarta, or MagnaCut and titanium. Riding on skiffs, but I'm not sure if I'm crazy about that clip. Once it gets in my pocket, I just really have to work with it to get it in my pocket. But once it gets in, and I like the Warncliffe. A lot of people don't. Nice, nice carry. I'm pulling it up. Vagrant's a sheep's foot liner lock. I got you. I've not, Kubi doesn't, I used to own a lot of Kubi stuff, but I don't review stuff for them, nor do I with Boston anymore for some reason. The Spyderco Tenacious, the Gerber US1, SOG Century 3, and the Nikon C1 Lite. Nice, Neil McKenzie. Strong carry right there. Let me go to Instagram. Todd Carr in the hizzy. Todd Carr got me at the, see, Todd, and I wasn't, if you read my text back, it wasn't saying that's why I asked people to email. I was pointing out my stupidity because we said Kyle. I just never remember who I sent it to. And for some reason, when I pulled up Cole, your email address, so I think at one time I did send it, but in Pirate Ship, it just takes the address that I put in there and wants to auto-populate. So we got it just at the right time. And I appreciate you reaching out, brother. Let me go to Instagram real quick and get Paul's carry. Bear with me. Ooh, is that a beat? Is that a Flatanium beat? Nice. And the little fox slip joint. Dude, I hope you're loving that knife. Lovely slip. I'm going to share Paul's carry since I've got visual representation of it. I think that is a Flatanium beat. One of the greatest. Oh, no, that's a reblade. That's one of Paul's bug out reblades, I think. It's got a beat look. That's that's gorgeous. A little fox and a slip. What kind of blade's that? I know Transparent did that for you now that I'm looking at it. It's a beautiful knife. Happy Canada Day. Yeah, I'm a warny guy. I don't have it over here with me Yeah, I do. Showed it a little earlier, but one of my favorite modern warnies is this Kaiser Warntech or Warning. It's called the Warning, like warning, except WHARNING, and it's got this carbon or this micarta inlay, titanium frame, top actuated button lock, top liner button lock. Got a hollow ground Warncliffe blade, full size knife, and it's a button liner that is super slicey. And these knives are like $150, I think, new. You can buy them less on Blade Binge, I'm sure. They also make the Madrak, which looks similar to this, but this has got a more aggressive tanto, and I think it's a better knife. This one's an S45. Yeah, S45. And it's got the Ultra DLC. That's a great mid-range price Kaiser. And I can get behind it. Don't feed anything after midnight except me. They make great stuff. I think the Kubi, I used to collect them. I've probably given away 20. I had the one that looked like the Arius. I forget what it was called. The tit something. They had a bunch of great knives that I like. There's nothing wrong with them at all. Neither was Vosteed. I was a big fan of Vosteed. I've got several Vosteeds in my collection. Yeah, but your bug out's got a killer blade on it. I'm just at that weird situation where back when I first started my channel and I worked full time, I was buying knives and reviewing them. I can't buy knives now. I'm lucky that I work at Knives and More because I've got an open, I guess I can review anything down there, but if it doesn't excite me, if it's not something that I get fired up about, I really don't want to come home and talk to myself about it because I've got to learn about the knife. I've got to make myself some notes so I know what I'm talking about if it's something that I haven't carried or I haven't become familiar with. They're more show and tell type videos. But it does sell out fast. I'm telling you guys, it's a good one. And the Outposter is a great budget knife. I love that knife. I've got a knife that Kyle sharpened when he first started sharpening. This is from probably 5 years ago. And he'll say his edges are totally different now, and they are. I've seen them. This is a Jacob Creates Chickadee in MagnaCut. It has got still a screaming sharp 5-year-old clean work sharpening edge on it. I'd say he's the best sharpener in the game. At least in my game. I'm trying to up my game. I sharpened what did I sharpen recently? And I got it very sharp. I taped it up. I can't remember what it was. I need to find something else to sharpen. I really look forward to sharpening this 2 minnows up when I get them when I get the Magnamax to stop cutting. I also want to sharpen that guy after I get it a little more dull, that Hinderer 20 CV. That small little, I think it's called a flash point. I picked that up at Blade Show just because they had it and I hadn't seen them in the wild. But yeah, it's funny. We have that's another thing we offer at the knife store is sharpening. We have both sportsmen, manly men, people who you would think would sharpen. They all bring their knives in for sharpening. And like if you come in with a couple of bug outs, you can wait and have them sharpened because he just runs them on a Tormax. Takes him about 5 minutes and then he strops them. I need to get some more Gary strop. I need to find where that stuff is. Hold on. I think we found it at Sharpening Supplies. I've got to order a couple of things. Yeah, this stuff right here, I put some on a strop last night. I've got a little bottle of it I bought probably 3 months ago. And when I clean up my strops and put it back on, what I love about it is it's a small bottle, but you only have to put a couple of drops on the strop. And then you can take that and rub it in. That's a very, what I'd call a furry strop. I use harder strops that are more like wood. And then that stuff you don't need. That's that stropping lotion. It's a totally different product. That's why it's so much more expensive. You can get all three of these for like $65, or you can just buy them singles for $25. I bought a 1 micron for $25, or maybe I got a 3 micron. But it's called Sharp Condition. And that's pretty good stuff. Stroppy stuff's good, but I do not like Night Neil. We're not long for it, buddy. We'll probably rally here for another 20, 30 minutes. But I like the stroppy stuff. I used to like Scott Gunn stuff, but you can't get it anymore. I just don't like spray dispensers. I get overspray and I don't get an even spray. Because what I do, I'm real weird. I'll take it and I'll put it down. Then I've got this little paintbrush that I'll use to rub it in to my strop. I've got 2 strops that they were made for me. One's camel. One's kangaroo and the other's cow. And they were made to me from a knife brother who doesn't make them publicly, but he makes them very well. He definitely could. They're little block strops and they're awesome. They rock. You know, they've got a lot of stuff on Instagram. On Amazon, but I can never tell much from those reviews. I never know. It's hard to really get a good review. So if we go strop compound emulsion, I'm really big about shopping on Amazon, like for soap, for when I get my big things of cat food. I don't want to go to Walmart. I'll order it on Amazon and get it the next day. I know that seems crappy, but see, they've got this cheap stuff. I don't know anything about that. They've got this Ginde, which is pretty expensive, really. The Ginde is very expensive. And I would think you get what you pay for, because a lot of it is how much diamonds you have mixed in. I would think that these little emulsions, this 1 micron diamond emulsion for $9 has probably got very little. I don't know that. They show, I just have a hard time believing that you can get something that good. Now, you can go to Outdoor 55, and he's tested a lot of these. But if you scroll down through here, you'll find some other weird brands. And even a lot of Gendies, CBN emulsion sprays. And then you can find these little syringes. But Amazon, you can look for a while. Again, it's hard to tell. And then you can see that they've got a bunch of like 2 comments or 13 comments. 50 milliliters for $60. That's a whole lot of stuff for very little. Let's see what the comments say. Superfine stropping compound, easy to use and great value, though I'd like it to be a bit thicker, provides a good sharp edge, blah, blah, blah. This is excellent. Diamond emulsion. I don't know the concentration. I guess it's around 10%. It's in a squeeze bottle. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot you can play around with for not a lot of cash. Or you can get online and find some that work well for people. And then, go for it. To me, I like to find something and stick with it. And I haven't fully switched over to the Creeley, but I haven't been able to find the stroppy stuff. So if I go up here, this is what I was using after I couldn't get the gunny stuff anymore. Stroppy stuff. And that stuff is not cheap. So this is a little 6 micron mono suspension spray. That's all you can get it in. A little bigger bottle, but I'll weigh some more. 30 milliliters for $41. Or what is this? Little 5 milliliter bottles. You can get little trial bottles. Like if you're trying to determine what grit you want or what micron you want. And then Gunny, I don't think he has it anymore. Gunny, drop. He bought the Gunny grit. But yeah, I don't see Gunny. I don't think he has his stroppy stuff anymore. Gunny Glide is a lubricant. Out the front lube. Lubricant, cleaner. Yeah, he doesn't have his stroppy stuff. He's still got some pads, but that's about it. But yeah, I think it's just kind of they are pretty much, and that sucks. But I guess it's hard to make that stuff and make it right and get it to cut. I remember that chick on Instagram, Lacey Lace or whatever, was doing it and selling it for a while, and it turns out her stuff was basically just junk from what I heard from people who got it. And that's unfortunate because you want to support somebody that's making it. You just got to go with reputable companies, guys. And anytime you see it in a retailer, you know you've got some clapback. So has everybody got busy weeks? Or is anybody off this week for the 4th? I know it's kind of a short week or a different week. Yeah, that's where I got my stroppy stuff, Dan. I ordered it from Jared's site. That was my supplier of it. But is anybody out of town on vacation or got vacation plans before or after the 4th? Anything cool coming up? I am going to go live Friday. We are closed Saturday. I don't work Saturdays anyway. You better get one before the 4th. Todd, does she still sell it? See, I'd heard that she'd kind of disappeared, but I don't know. I'm not tied in with her. But yeah, I wish her nothing but success. If she's, doing stuff wrong, I don't think she'll stick around long. That rhymed. You can't get away with doing stuff wrong and stick around long if you do it enough. And that's why I think none of us want to gossip about other people. But if you run yourself into a situation where you feel like you're being taken advantage of or you're not being treated fairly, chances are other people in the community are you're not getting singled out for special treatment. Gareth, welcome, brother. Good to see you. I haven't been scratching people out, but it's good to see you, man. But yeah, if y'all are getting any situation like that, reach out to me. I won't make a scene of it. DM me and say, have you heard this? And I'll fish around and find out without making your name part of it. Because I always think resolution needs to happen. And so many times it's easy for people to hide from their responsibilities because they don't think people are going to find out. And a little pressure, not pressure, but just a little reminder of what the right thing is and why you want to do the right thing can go a long way if it comes from somebody else sometimes. It's good to see you, Gareth. Always good to see you, my man. Scotty, I took my TRM collection down to Knives and More tonight, and I've been trying to close them. Marianne and I are working kind of double team on. And I even dressed mine back down in G10 red, white, and blue scales so they would price out more. You know, I like them in G10, but price out a little bit more budget like. And he thinks, and again, he's 70. He thinks this is going to affect his Benchmade business. I told him, no, sir, not at all. I even put scales on my older Bulldog. Whoops, that I can't flick very well. It doesn't have the big cutout hole. I didn't put scales on that. But I mean, you can't deny that this is a much better knife. And it's going to appeal to a much different buyer. I know they're dumb. And Scott, what you don't realize is their commitment level is so low. Me and Tate, the young guy who owns 20% of it, are still working it. And John's the type guy who he's kind of up and down in his moods. In the last couple of days, he's kind of been in a funky mood. They've got the space. The funny thing is they brought in a big Chinese company that has 100 SKUs. They can bring in all of TRM stuff and take up 2 square feet max. So it's just wild to me that they don't think about stuff like that. But yeah, I'm always if you've got a good company, you've got good people, you've got an opportunity to make money, and you don't have any risk, you can't beat that. Unfortunately, Tate's the young guy's the one that's met with them a couple of times, and he feels the same way I do. Yesterday, he almost just did it without asking. And then today he brought up the conversation. It was just one of those things that it's just going to have to happen again Monday or maybe Thursday when I'm there with him alone. I work with that guy Thursday. He and I do not see eye to eye. He kind of has to have me there because when the young guy goes out for his procedure, he's going to need me to work open to close. And I don't need to be there. I do it to get out of my house for a few hours a day. I'm not making anything there. Yeah. And Benchmade, the whole thing, Scotty, is the people that come in, we sell a lot of Benchmades, but they're not going to be people who are even going to look at TRMs. We also have people that come in there and trade in Striders. They trade in Hinderers. They're looking for TRMs. They're trading in TRMs. They're trading in McNeese's. We've got all kinds. And the whole thing is you don't have to carry a bunch of knives to cater to those people. And once they know you have them, it just opens other dialogues. So I think it's a no-brainer. But he thinks I'm because I did pull the number game on him. When we talked about the knife business, I said, I don't know the knife business. I know business. And I know that my last year at Spectrum, I was responsible for like $4.7 million in revenue. The year before that, it was 4.3. I don't know how many millions you sell each year, but I know that my last 20 years of my life, I've been responsible for millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of business that I'm accountable for and have to come up with ways to make dollars and make sense. Right. And you haven't convinced me yet that taking on a small boutique brand is going to be anything but positive. And he's just, and again, do I care? For them, yes, but for me, no, because he's going to eventually say something and I'm going to have to say, I've enjoyed it. I appreciate it. You want me to shoot another store video on my way out? Because my knife experiment is over. I'm done doing this. I'm done having people cope to me and say the reason Case don't make them sharp because they want you to put your own edge on it. Okay. That makes sense. Guys, I'm going to run it out to right around midnight. And then I'm probably, Rob Snarty Knives, what's up, brother? Popping in late. Good to see you, my man. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are hanging out. We are chilling. We are talking about a few knives, talking about a few situations down at my experiment, which is Knives and More, the store that I work at part-time, which is an interesting. The one thing I'm waiting for is last year, about 2 months from now, CRBX comes to Huntsville twice a year to do business. He's a YouTube creator, and he came in Knives and More before I worked there and spent 6 hours on a Saturday in there and handled everything and talked them all down to make them feel like they wanted to kick him out. And they knew who he was, that he was a creator, but they just didn't want him in the store anymore. And I'm really hoping he comes back while I'm there just so I can see how he works, how he plays his I'm elite card, because I'll jack him up verbally. I've not been a fan. And he made the one guy, Levi, the young guy who's probably 21, younger than my daughter, who knows a lot about knives. He goes to Blade Show every year and buys customs that he trades in. He doesn't know about every Benchmade that comes out because he doesn't give two fucks. But this guy was like trying to make him feel less than. According to him and according to the young guy that works there, it was uncomfortable. But I don't have room for that. I think anybody that comes in your place of business, if they're going to be, pedantic and not be doing business and just wasting your time, you can ask them to leave, especially if they're from out of town. I don't have a problem with that. Even if he wants to make a video about it, I don't have a problem with that. Sometimes you've got to just look at asset versus liability, and some people are liabilities. And unfortunately, I think he's wired that way. I could be wrong because I don't know him, but talking to them, they don't want him in the store again. They do not want him in the store again. And I've got his name wrong, but he's a little engineer guy that lives somewhere and used to punch things with a little weird HRC tester. Now he's got a different one, and he's always finding problems with shit. CRBX, something like that. I don't know. You know what? I just thought of 2 seconds, guys. I'm looking at something real quick. Behind the scenes. Check something. I do have to do that. All right. I'm back. Sorry about that. You selling it? 1931 Leatherworks? I don't understand why anybody would act like that. If I go into a place, whether I know about it or not, you treat people with respect. You realize that they're spending their time to show you shit. If nothing else, be thankful that you're showing you shit and you're not buying stuff. Be thankful that they're, answering your questions, even though your questions are weird from what I've heard. What's up, Josh 304? What's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Welcome, welcome. Guys, I'm going to do something different tonight because I'm getting ready to go get something to eat. Y'all are getting ready to get something to eat, but I'm going to part out with a commercial instead of with our regular songs. So do me a favor. Thank you for coming. Look out for the guy or gal to your left. Look out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart. Choose debate, not hate. I love this commercial. Peace.
Good afternoon, madam.
Yeah, I'm sorry, officer.
Can I see your papers, please? Hello. Mummy in a bit of a hurry, was she?